Hey friends, is it close to your family's favorite holiday, but you're already feeling burned out, overwhelmed, and kind of dreading it? I'm Amy Rose White. I'm a psychotherapist who shares psychospiritual tools for self healing. And today we're going to talk about something so many of us need right now: setting boundaries at the holidays. Because let's be real, for the time of year that's supposed to be about joy and connection, a lot of us feel anxious, fried, and resentful before we even pack up the car and leave the house. Now, there's this cliche in all of our heads, right? Like, oh, the worst thing is going to be this awkward uncle with the weird political comments, or that one family member who's guaranteed to stir up drama. But what I see over and over again in my therapy practice is that the real burnout tends to come from the travel, especially with small children, even if it's not that far, the logistics and the emotional labor of organizing it all, and the old pain that we carry from previous years: in laws, estranged siblings, unresolved grief, old stuff with our parents that comes up. And especially in the Northern Hemisphere, short days, long nights, and intense weather just kind of magnifies everything. So if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I am curious. Tell me in the comments, what are your holidays like? Is it easier because it's summer? I'd love to know. But for many of us, it's not just the people, it's this pressure, whether that comes from within or without. Those shoulds, the obligations, and the pace of just too much too fast. And that is where boundaries become our medicine. Let's begin with something gentle but powerful. Recognize the part of you that worries more about disappointing people than honoring your own needs. And you might think, it's not that big of a deal, I'll just push through. I don't need to set a boundary. But here's what I want you to hear. It is truly not selfish to say, my child struggles with transitions, or finances are tight and one more trip is just too much, or we'll stay at Aunt So-and-so's for 2 hours, not 10. That's what setting boundaries at the holidays really looks like. They're not just about saying no, they're actually about choosing your yeses. So we will come to dinner, yes, but we will leave after dessert, which is your implied no or your boundary. Still, this is where these old, scared parts of us pop up. The parts that were trained to please, to overfunction, and to avoid conflict. That's the biggie behind not setting boundaries. So here's the work. Picture that part of you like a small child. Bring them to your lap, breathe, and ask, what are you afraid will happen if we do this differently this year? Maybe your chest gets tight, maybe your stomach clenches. Instead of ignoring it, listen. Light a candle, breathe into that space, listen to the response. Say, I hear you. It makes sense that you're scared. You don't have to convince that part that is scared to say no in some format. It just needs to know that you're with it. And that's when your adult self can take the lead, take over from a grounded, clear, and compassionate place. Let's talk about a viral concept this year, something a few of my clients have brought up, this let them theory. Now, in some contexts, it's really helpful. Let them misunderstand you, let them be upset, let them go. But not when we use let them as a way to bypass our own inner no. Because the truth is, we're not just stressed from what people do. We're often stressed because we've been letting them year after year after year. Letting the racist jokes slide. Letting your mom make comments about your body. Letting your uncle's creepy stare go unchecked. Letting your sister-in-law's passive-aggressive digs ruin your joy. That's not noble or mature. That's actually self-abandonment. So here is a reframe. Boundaries are not rejection. Boundaries are protection for your nervous system, for your children, and for your happiness and well-being. So this year, I really encourage you to have a plan. You can imagine that your mom might make a comment about your weight. Mom, that's not helpful. Or I'd like you to keep that to yourself next time. When Uncle Bob stares too long, hey Bob, eyes up. When someone makes a passive-aggressive jab, that feels like more of an inside thought. You can say it calmly, you can say it clearly, and I encourage you to rehearse this ahead of time. You just don't have to match their energy. And it is important to pick our battles, but don't shrink from them altogether. That irritation you feel, that is your inner compass. And just because it's the holidays, I don't encourage you to ignore it. I encourage you to really listen. and find small, simple ways to hold firm what really matters to you. And my last, but maybe most essential tip is this: spend as much time in nature as you possibly can before, during, and after any family event. I'm serious. Step outside, walk around the block, put your hand on a tree, look at the moon, look at the stars, feel the snow, take a few deep breaths and throw a snowball at a fence. Let out what is stirring inside you, because nature is the ultimate nervous system regulator, and it can hold all of us. It doesn't care if your aunt is mad. It doesn't care about your in-laws' expectations. It just holds you every time. You do not need to white knuckle your way through the holidays. So honor your capacity and soothe the parts of you that are afraid to say no. Don't just let them. Plan calm, clear, respectful responses to chronic boundary crossers, and ground yourself in nature as often as you can. This isn't about conflict. It's about choosing yourself with love. And that is truly the best gift you can give you and your family this holiday season. I hope this was useful for you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and hyping the video. May you be safe, may you be well, and may you be at peace. I'd love to hear in the comments, what boundary are you reclaiming this year? Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you next time.